back to Football Barbie, where we talk about anything and everything football. I'm going to try to keep going on with the predictions. I'm so sorry that I keep missing some of these weeks. You know, the first season trying to do this with the holidays is a little bit tough, having my mom in town, and then just kind of getting through everything else, you know, trying to keep it going, keep on track, and trying to do my predictions. I'd be really curious to see, like, how I actually did at, like, the end of the season. So let's get it started and talk to you about week 14. Let's go.
Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished?
Week 14 is in full swing now for the NFL football season. I cannot believe it is already week 14. That means literally we have So the first week of January is the last week for regular season football. And, you know, so many of these teams now are fighting for playoff position. Here, I thought as an Eagles fan that I had it in a bag to maybe be this number one seed. And now I'm not really sure what's going to happen. Currently, we are playing the Cowboys this week, and if they win, could easily take over that position, which is just so crazy to think that we had so much of a better chance. So a lot of these teams have so many hurt players. A lot of the quarterbacks, the major quarterbacks that were paid so much money this year are already out, as you guys probably do know. The injuries are just really destroying some of these people. So let's start with tonight's game. Hopefully I can get this video posted like not long after the game starts. So it is the Patriots at the Steelers Thursday night. Now let's talk about some of the injuries first. So for the Patriots, running back Ramondre Stevenson, I always apologize. Let's just let you know off the bat for these names, okay? I don't know. It's hard to pronounce some of these names. Ramondre Stevenson, ankle. You got O.L. Riley Reef, knee. Wide receiver Demario Douglas, concussion. Wide receiver Keyshawn Bouette, shoulder, is out. And then D.L. Christian Barmore, shoulder. So, and then what do you have? Also Trent Brown, the OT, ankle and hand injury. Wide receiver Devontae Parker, knee. Wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster, ankle is questionable. So if you have some fantasy people, really pay attention to, because it's so important for you to not miss what's happening with these injuries. But as that, with the Stevenson out, so that's probably going to lead for more carries for Ezekiel Elliott for the Patriots, who had a monster game in Pittsburgh against the Steelers during his rookie season. So each of New England's questionable players were limited in practice yesterday, like Wednesday. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen for them. As for the Steelers, quarterback Mason Rudolph, ankle. You have cornerback James Pierre, shoulder, out. Guard Isaac Samalo, shoulder. Linebacker Elandon Roberts, groin. Running back Najee Harris, knee. Center Mason Cole, neck, questionable. So Harris, who has not missed a game during his 3-year career, did not practice this week. And Najee Harris, for sure, is definitely a really good player for the Steelers. Regardless, though, of Harris's status, fellow running back Jaylen Warren should receive more work on tonight's game, especially with backup quarterback Mitch Trubisky, who is under center. Warren has over 10 carries in a game and has just taken place 3 times this season, but each of those occurrences have taken place over the past 5 weeks. So he's definitely getting better as the seasons are going on. As for the Patriots, they're really just having a tough time trying to score for this season. I think this is the worst season apparently that Bill Belichick has ever had. Obviously, that Tom Brady era is long gone, for sure. I just think Mitch Trubisky is better than Bailey Zapp, which is the, backup for Mac Jones, who just got yanked out. But so far, I am picking the Steelers to win tonight's game. If the Patriots win, it's really probably only because Bill Belichick is making sure that they win. Yeah, so I don't really know. But let's talk it out and go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Falcons. Can you believe that this is a big division game? Big division game for them. The Falcons are leading the division, but it's a really bad score. But the Bucs stayed more alive by beating Carolina last week. Sorry, Robbie. This has to be the look of a lower scoring game with the Bucs pulling off, I think, an upset on the road. As for the Bucs, I don't really think they have that many major players who are currently hurt. The Falcons, Atlanta's top 2 cornerbacks, Jeff Oduka, ankle, and AJ Terrell concussion were limited during Wednesday's practice. Wideout Matt Collins' ankle was a full practice participant. As were linebacker Nate Landman knee and offensive lineman Caleb McGarry did not practice after both players were unable to finish Sunday's win over the Jets. So, curious to see, but I am taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like I said, I feel like you really can see how a team plays and how good a team is when you go and watch the game live in person. Having gone to watch the Eagles at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers video, which you could see down below, I really thought that Tampa actually was a pretty good team. But it does really matter, though, if people are hurt or not. If people are hurt, and like I've always said, if one of your best players goes out, you're screwed. Then you have the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. Well, the weather could be an issue here, which isn't a good thing for the Lions. They are also on the road for a second straight week while the Bears are coming off a bye. The Chicago defense has improved a lot lately, and that will carry over. It's going to be tight, but I do feel like the Lions might be able to take this win. For the Lions, rookie quarterback Hendon Hooker and linebacker Alex Anzalone were able to full practice this week, as were center Frank Ragnow, knee, back, toe injury, and linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez, ankle were limited. As for the Bears, Deontay Foreman, ankle was a full participant at practice, and he for sure, they definitely need. I mean, I'm pretty sure what they had obtained him from the Lions, so actually it's kind of like a rematch here. Foreman is going back to his former team. Is that where he came from? Pretty sure. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts at the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I was really mad at the beginning of the season when I was picking the Bengals to win these easier games, and they were failing miserably. If you're a Bengals fan, what happened? Joe Burrow, isn't he injured? And this is sort of a big game now for the Bengals to beat the Jaguars. The Colts, after the Bengals just beat the Jaguars, the Colts, which that was pretty good, in an overtime win on Monday. The Colts are on the road for a second straight week. And this is a challenge. Even if it's a short trip, Jake Browning won't play like how he did against Jacksonville, the backup quarterback for the Bengals. But I think he will do enough to be able to win this one. For the Colts, unfortunately, there is no return timetable apparently for Jonathan Taylor, which sucks because obviously he was not playing for so long and then he comes back. He did have thumb surgery last week. Offensive tackle Braden Smith, knee, and linebacker EJ Speed did not practice as well, while defensive tackle DeForest Buckner shoulder was full. As for the Bengals, battered and bruised for the better part of a month, the Bengals had a relatively clean injury report this past Wednesday. Offensive tackle Jonah Williams returned to practice in a limited capacity, while defensive end Sam Hubbard received a Veterans Day off. So let's see if the Bengals can pull it through and beat the Colts. Then you have Jacksonville at the Cleveland Browns. What are you going to do? The Jacksonville Jaguars will probably likely start CJ Beathard for injured Trevor Lawrence, while Joe Flacco could start again for the Browns. The Cleveland defense is better of the two, which has really challenged the Jacksonville offense. This will be a low-scoring game, but I think that Cleveland does have the capacity to win it late. Jaguars have basically already got the amount of wins that I thought they were going to get for this season. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the Jaguars had like 6 or 7 straight wins last season. And to order to make it to the first round of playoffs? Is that what it was? Then you have, let's see, for the Jags, Trevor Lawrence, obviously he did not practice and he continues to deal with a high ankle sprain, which that sucks. I've had those and they are miserable. Sprain suffered during Monday night loss to Cincinnati. Jaguars coach Doug Peterson said the team won't sacrifice the health of any player, which thank God for Doug. I really liked Doug when he was for the Eagles. Lawrence included for one game. Lawrence said on Wednesday that he feels a lot better than he did on Monday night, while adding that he's thankful the injury wasn't more serious. But Lawrence, like I said, backup, the third, was limited on Wednesday as he is dealing with a shoulder injury. Kirk, who injured his groin early in Monday night's loss, did not practice. As for the Browns, cornerback Denzel Ward shoulder returned to practice as a limited participant. Ward has been inactive. Azula, come here. Ward has been inactive for each of Cleveland's last 2 games. Dorian Thompson-Robinson was limited as he continues by working his way out of the league's concussion protocol. And then you have running back Kareem Hunt. Obviously, we know he's a fantastic player. Groin and wideout Amari Cooper, concussion ribs, did not practice. Anyone want a cat sometimes? Azul! Cat? Anyone want a cat? So we are going to take, like I said, the Browns. Next up, Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints. The Panthers are playing a second straight road game, but they get a Saints team that could be without Derek Carr, which has not been the thing for the season. That would mean that Jameis Winston is in as the starter, and the Saints defense should be able to slow a Carolina offense that isn't very good. Saints take it. So I think the Saints really do have a good chance to win. For the Panthers, Adam Thielen rest was the only Panther player who did not practice on Wednesday, and I really do think that he was great for the Vikings. I think he's doing okay with the Panthers, but it really does matter what team you are on. Their tight end, Hayden Hurst, concussion, and defensive backs, J.C. Horn, hamstring, Von Bell, shoulder, and Jeremy Chin, quadriceps, were limited for the Panthers. As for the Saints, defensive end Isaiah Foskey, quadricep. Quarterback Taysom Hill, foot, left hand. Defensive end Cameron Jordan, ankle. They have a whole bunch, but I still think they might be able to beat out the Panthers here. Malcolm Roach, knee. Wide receiver Shaheed, thigh. Did not practice on Wednesday. Quarterback Derek Carr, concussion, rib, right shoulder. Tight end Juwan Johnson, quadricep. I mean, there is a huge list of people who are hurt for the Saints. We'll see how many of them actually play, but it's quite crazy to me. Then you have the Houston Texans at the New York Jets. I really hope that Aaron Rodgers comes back even for one game. Even if it's the last game of the season and throws a couple passes, that would be fantastic. I mean, you know the Jets fans all went out and bought that quarterback jersey for Rodgers for him to only get hurt in the first game. I mean, truly, that's very upsetting. When you're here to support a player that you think is going to finally take your team to a win, and all of a sudden, that man gets hurt in the first game, in the first 4 snaps, whew, that's brutal for any team, okay? Especially the Jets. They really want that playoff win. For the Texans, you have Houston, who recently lost wideout Tank Dell for the season, had a host of players on Wednesday's injury report. I still think they got a better chance. On a positive note, Denzel Perryman, knee, was a full participant at practice. Pass rusher Will Anderson Jr., shoulder, wide out. Noah Brown, knee. Defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins, hamstring. And tight end Dalton Schultz, hamstring, were limited. As for linebacker Neville Hewitt, hamstring. Offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil, knee. And safety Jimmy Ward, shoulder, were among the Texans players who did not practice. Like I said, Aaron Rodgers, Achilles, he still has yet to practice, but it's not terribly concerning given that Wednesday is sometimes used as a rest day for the older players. Running back Breece Hall did not practice on Wednesday as he continues to work through his ankle injury. Offensive tackle McKee Becton, knee, and Billy Turnerfinger, linebacker Quincy Williams, knee, and tight end Tyler Conklin, hamstring, were limited. This is one of those, be careful games for the young Texans. The Jets' offensive issues are evident, but their defense is still more capable of limiting the Texans' offense, which is why I think that the Eagles lost to the Jets, because for some reason, our offensive line does get stopped by really good defenses. And listen, if somebody's a really good defense, we're not getting anywhere. And the Jets beat us, and I was kind of annoyed by the fact that the Jets were the first team to beat us. Nobody ever wants to go on a run and then lose to a team that you don't think you should lose to, okay? Super annoying. I'd much rather have lost to the Dolphins, the Bills, any of those teams, the Chiefs, But no. The Eagles lose to the freaking Jets. Still not thrilled about that, okay? But the Jets' offense issues, like I said, they're a good defense. Without Tank Dell, look for a lower scoring game, I think, with the Texans winning a close one. I do think the Texans could barely pull off a win here. So then you got the Ravens, the Rams are going to the Ravens. So this is a long trip for the Rams against a team coming off a bye. The Ravens are what? Second best right now in the AFC, I think, going into this week under the Miami Dolphins. I said that the Dolphins will win the AFC East, and I said that the Ravens will get into the playoffs probably by a wild card spot. At this point, it looks like the Ravens have a good chance to, for sure, win their division because Cincinnati has been so horrible. Because I for sure picked Cincinnati to win, but not so much. Not so much. So, yeah, their defense. Lamar Jackson offense will get the best of that unit while the Ravens defense plays well, I think, against Matthew Stafford. The Rams, tight end Tyler Higbee, neck, linebacker Michael Hocht, knee, linebacker Brian Young, knee, and safety Quentin Lake, hamstring, did not practice. Wide receiver Puka Nwaka was a limited participant with his shoulder injury. As for the Ravens wideout Rashad Bateman did not practice as he's dealing with an illness. Cornerback Marlon Humphrey, calf, was a full participant, while defensive tackle Justin Madubuike, concussion, and linebacker Malik Harrison, groin, were limited. So, go Ravens. Yeah, I wonder how far they're going to go. Next up, we have my mother's team, the Minnesota Vikings, at the Las Vegas Raiders, the home stadium here. These two are coming off their byes, so that means that they are rested. The Vikings have to decide on a quarterback, which hasn't been determined yet. The Raiders are 2-2 under Antonio Pierce, and they are playing much better football with him as interim coach. I think that's going to possibly carry over here. I think that the Raiders do have a chance to pull off a win at home against the Vikings, which would be good for them because I know Raiders players get very disappointed that they're just not winning. Raiders star passer, though, Max Crosby did not practice Wednesday with his knee injury, nor did offensive tackle Colton Miller, shoulder. Defensive back Brandon Fashion Shin and linebacker Kanai Mwaga knee. Oh, I'm sorry, but we're limited. These names. Does anybody else know how to pronounce some of these names? I just look horrible trying to pronounce some of these names. Mauga. Anyone else? How would you say that? Let me know. I understand. I'm probably saying it horribly wrong. But I tell you. Minnesota did receive a huge boost Wednesday when All-Pro wideout Justin Jefferson was a full practice participant. So if Vikings have a chance, it's because Justin Jefferson is doing phenomenal. However, them struggling with a quarterback is part of their problem. So we'll see. I mean, he's supposed to be playing, and if Justin Jefferson plays, we know he was the number one wide receiver in the league last year. So speaking of wide receivers, in my house, we rub AJ Brown's bobblehead for good luck because AJ Brown, I feel is one of our star players for the Eagles, and every time I feel like we need some AJ Brown magic, I come up and rub his bobblehead. I sit there and scream and cheer for AJ Brown to get the ball because he can catch and he can run and he scores touchdowns. So, yay, AJ. Anyway, next, you have the Seahawks at the 49ers. Yeah, I did pick the Eagles to win against the 49ers. I did not think that the game was going to be that much of difference in points. I'm a little upset over that. I knew it was going to be a hard game. You knew San Francisco was coming back for blood after we beat them in order to advance to the Super Bowl. So I'm pretty sure that was game, right? I think that's the team. Yeah, we beat them in order to go to the Super Bowl last season. The Seahawks, though, have lost 3 straight games and have a major issues on defense right now, which sucks for them. The 49ers are rolling on offense, which means that this will be a mismatch. The 49ers blew them out in Seattle and will do it again in this one. I do think both teams will score as Brock Purdy continues towards his MVP push for the season. For the Seahawks, they have running back Zach Charbonnet, knee, running back Kenneth Walker III, oblique, linebacker Jordan Brooks, ankle, safety Jamal Adams, knee, defensive end Leonard Williams, ankle, and cornerback Trey Brown, heel. Did not practice on Wednesday. Offensive guard Anthony Bradford, knee. Offensive tackle Abram Lucas, knee. Wide receiver Jake Bobo, knee, shoulder. And center Evan Brown, thumb. Yeah, it's a lot of injured players. As for the 49ers, defensive end Arik Armstead, foot, knee. Offensive guard Spencer Buford, knee. Tight end Ross Dwelly, ankle. Cornerback Darrell Luter Jr., hamstring. And running back Elijah Mitchell, knee. Did not practice Wednesday. Wide receiver Ray McLeod was limited with a rib injury. So I think the 49ers are going to continue that win. Then we have the Buffalo Bills at the Chiefs. The Bills come off a bye while the Chiefs come off a tough loss to the Packers on the road. The Bills need this in the worst way for their playoff hopes, while the Chiefs need it for seeding. Chiefs, I'm sorry, but no. If they beat us in the Super Bowl, I will never feel the same for the Chiefs. I think they're a great team, but I hope the Bills win it, but I do think the Chiefs are going to win it. This will be, I think, a higher scoring game, and I think it's going to be won by the Chiefs late. I think it's going to be a game that comes down to the least amount of mistakes and penalties for sure. I think some of the penalties in the game are going to be what determines it. And I have a feeling there's going to be a fumble or an interception or something like that. For the Chiefs, running back Isaiah Pacheco, shoulder, and safety Brian Cook, ankle. Offensive tackle Donovan Smith, neck, and linebacker Drew Tranquill, concussion, did not practice Wednesday, where running back Jerick McKinnon was limited with his groin issue. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes is listed on injury report with a pectoral injury, but he was full participant. You know Patrick Mahomes is going to play. That man is probably going to have some serious issue that a doctor is preventing him from playing, from stopping him play. I mean, if he played on a bum ankle in the playoffs last season, you know that man is playing with pectoral injury. Like, come on now. This is Patrick Mahomes. He ain't playing. He was the best last year for a reason. As for the Bills, Buffalo actually received good news, though, Wednesday. As far as injuries are concerned, Josh Allen, right shoulder, tight ends, Dalton Kincaid, thumb, and Dawson Knox, wrist. Defensive end, Leonard Floyd, wrist, and defensive backs, Kier, ankle. Dane Jackson, concussion, and Taylor Rapp, neck, were all full participant at practices. Because you know that Buffalo needs a healthy Josh Allen to stand a chance against a Patrick Mahomes. If not, for sure, this is in the Chiefs' favor. But I still think this game's going to be a close one. Then you have the Broncos at the Chargers. So the Broncos defensive end, Zach Allen, elbow. Offensive tackle, Mike McGlinchey, back. Wide receiver, Marvin Mims Jr., ribs. Cornerback, Patrick Surtain II, knee. And safety, Delorean Turner, Yell, back. Were all limited participants on Wednesday. As for the Chargers, their offensive, Zach Bailey, back. Cornerback Deanne Leonard, ankle, heel. Linebacker, I'm not even pronouncing his name, hamstring, did not practice on Wednesday. Linebacker Justin Holland, chest. Defensive tackle Ogbania, knee. Wide receiver Josh Palmer, knee. Offensive tackle Trey Pipkins, wrist. And tight end Nick Vennett, concussion, were limited participants. The Broncos are in the middle of a 3-game road swing, which is never easy. The Chargers won last week against the Patriots, but they scored 6 points, guys. 6 points. Let's repeat that. The Chargers won last week against the Patriots, but they scored 6 points. I think the changes here, as Justin Herbert does play much better, the Chargers will win a game when they have to, so I think that the Chargers have a little bit of chance. Okay, this is where we're saying all of our prayers. I would like to be wrong about this one, but I did, if you paid attention to any of my videos before the season started, gave the Eagles the win at home and gave Dallas their win at home for the Eagles at Dallas. So the Eagles are going to Dallas this weekend. And I had to give it to him. I had to give it to Dallas. I will be pleasantly surprised and happy if the Eagles can pull off a win. I feel like we'll be in a much better place after losing so horribly bad, in my opinion, to the 49ers. This is a game of the week. You know, the Eagles have a big defensive issues, which you don't want going on with this high-flying Dallas offense. The Cowboys didn't look good on defense against Seattle, though, either. The Eagles won our first meeting, obviously. Like I said, at home, we won it. But this time, I think the Cowboys are going to get their revenge, which is kind of how a lot of times it goes. It's 1-1 for the season for us. I really hope we don't get beaten too badly, if so. I didn't like the score for the 49ers game. That sucked. We did receive some good news. Injury for Philly. DeAndre Swift was not mentioned on a team's injury report, while tight end Dallas Goedert forearm was a full participant at practice as well. As for Dallas running back Rico Dowd was limited Wednesday with an ankle injury, while tight end Peyton Hendershot was a full participant with his ankle injury. Yeah, I really hope I'm incorrect, but yeah, I think Dallas will win. But come on, AJ. You'll be seeing me do this all damn day during the Eagles game. Come on, AJ, we need you. Then you have, can anyone understand this? Why is this the case? Why are there 2 Monday night games at the same exact time this week? You can't stagger them? Why? What happened that there's 2 games at the same exact time? The Titans at the Dolphins and are playing at the same time as the Packers at the Giants. Thank God we got that stupid Sunday YouTube ticket. I hope that I can be able to watch both games because how effing annoying. The Dolphins get a Tennessee team that has yet to win on the road, while the Dolphins have yet to lose at home. Miami rolls up big offensive numbers here at home against a Tennessee defense that is struggling. I think Miami's going to kill it. Not the 70-20 that we've seen them play, against Denver? But I think that the Dolphins are going to do really well. The Dolphins are my favorite for AFC team, and if for some reason the Eagles may get to play the Dolphins, damn, I'll be so excited. I really would want to go, but I'm not spending $10,000 on a Super Bowl ticket this year. I don't care. I think if the Eagles go, that's too much money. It literally cost me over $4,000 last year, like $4,300 and some dollars to watch my team lose in a Super Bowl. And it's not like it's a regular football game where you don't spend as much money. When you spend that kind of money and then you don't have, a guarantee that you're going to win, it's not the best. I mean, it's hometown and everything. Yeah, but still. Then you have the Packers at the Giants. The Packers have won 3 straight and appear to be on a rolling field here. The Giants are coming off a bye. I don't think it's going to be an easy game for the Packers coming off a big victory over the Chiefs, but they will find a way to keep a winning streak going. Jordan Love is going to stay hot, so I'm going to give it to the Packers. So that is it. Comment on your picks below. Let me know. I still have things to give out, so just please tell me what you like, what you want. I really would appreciate if you like, comment, subscribe, all that. It really does help me out. So thank you so much. Talk to you guys from